Tuesday, August 17th, 6 p.m. We will start the meeting of the City of Othello Planning Commission. And we'll start that first with roll call. Before we do that, we have two excused absences, Maria and Chad.
Maria.
Oh, Maria came in. All right, Maria. Hi. Never mind. Go ahead, Ruth.
Ruth Sawyer here.
Daniela here.
Rob Simmons here.
Jose Garza here.
And Donald Burks here.
All right. So we'll start with public input. Do you have any? None yet? So it looks like we have two meetings to have approval of minutes. So we'll start with the June 15th, 2026 meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Before there's a motion, I would say that it's kind of a simple thing, but Chad Robbins, I think, has two B's in his last name. So for attendees, just the spelling of his name.
I'll make a motion to approve June meeting.
Got a motion?
Second.
In a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then we'll move on to the July 20th, 2026 meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the July, what was the date? Minutes.
There's been a motion
I second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
And that motion carries. So we're moving on to item 4, comprehensive plan update and future land use map and amendment request and the discussion on that. So I'll just hand it off to you, Ann, for the order of what you want that to be.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a lot of stuff tonight all on the one topic. So what we'll need to do is to think about north of town. We kind of got introduced last month to, there's been some requests, and then the majority of your packet was responses to those requests. So I guess think about that. What, do you need more information? Need to discuss that part of it. We also need to go back and look at what we looked at last month and make sure that what you're thinking matches with what the county designations are, because those things at the end of this process, those need to be consistent. And then lastly, if we have time, which I kind of doubt, but if we do, then we'd want to look at inside city limits and if there's any changes that we should be thinking about for the zoning inside the city limits. So that's kind of like three tasks to get through. So I guess, I don't know if you want to start with that. We do have on the line Aaron Merkar, our consultant for the comprehensive plan, that he was walking through this with us last month, and so he can continue with that this month.
Okay, and it looks like Kelly Camp has joined us too from the City Council. Thank you. Jeannie, you've been raising your hand. Did you have something on?
I just was going to let you guys know. Ignore him. Last month, I brought to you guys the request for north of Lee Road. And I could basically take that off the table for you guys, because right now, AJ and Jody and myself are going through a process with the county to figure out what that zoning is going to look like north of Lee, since that is outside of the city boundaries. So we could just discuss what is south of Lee Road.
That could shorten our meeting quite a bit, I'm thinking.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and that was as per, I asked Ann about the process, and she said the process we should be following is going through this process with the county also. So that's what we set up, and we met with Andy Lorenz today, and so we're starting that process. We're gonna go through that with them north of Lee Road, outside of the city boundaries. Everything south of Lee Road then is open for discussion.
That saves me a lot of questions. So, okay, good. Any questions on that, but
I
understand what
really
we're.
wanted to fight with you, but I guess.
I wasn't gonna fight with anybody. I was thinking that what it really mattered what the county was thinking on it before
Yeah.
we make decisions anyway, so. So now then the discussion is just the request south of Lee Road? Okay, and that is a request to go from light industrial to commercial and residential, 2 spots.
Yes, there's a strip of commercial from 14th over to, it's not quite to the highway. And then just below that, there is also a strip just back and behind the commercial that we're asking to be made from light industrial to residential. And then there is a small square of light industrial that we're asking to go to commercial further down the road, kind of over near the potato sheds on the south side.
Oh, okay.
Near
I see
McCain's.
that.
And I believe that's all of it, isn't it?
So
So,
I'm gonna ask a question that might shorten this discussion even more. My understanding is that currently the city, I don't want to say requires, but expects a buffer of light industrial between heavy industrial and anything else. So if we were to go and approve a light industrial annexation when across the street is heavy industrial, that would kind of go against typical process of the city or the planning commission.
Where are you talking?
So what he's talking about is the city makes a 13.
On the map where,
There would be no buffer zone
Is your
because
microphone on?
we're waiting. The future land use is at this point still heavy industrial across the street.
Mhm.
And so we would be taking away any buffer.
But that is still future land use. It's not going to be, nothing's going to be done until the landowner decides to sell that. It's just futures, it's just what they're considering for future zoning.
Sure. The way I look at that is I also want to know what the county decides. And if the county decides to keep that as heavy industrial,
Then we got a problem.
then that would matter to me.
Yeah,
I don't know how the rest of the commission's thinking.
Spot on.
yeah, it would be the county would choose what they want to do, and then we would have to reflect to that on the other side of it.
I mean, I feel like that we should know what they're wanting to do.
Well, it is already zoned residential up to, what, about 1,300 feet back?
Currently, there is that light industrial buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any other thoughts from the commission? I mean, that's just my opinion, and I feel like Jose was at least following what I was saying, but I don't know if you feel that's important.
But I
or-
believe the commercial can also be considered a buffer.
Didn't agree to that. It was the in between heavy industry and residential. You had to have 1350 of light industrial.
Because the
And that
way
was only around heavy.
Because the way the county looks at it is it's heavy industry to light industry to commercial, so all of those are considered buffer to residential,
I'm
going down the scale.
I think it was the number of feet, because we were looking at 1350 as being that which was recommended by most of the industries in that area of the buffer. Unfortunately, we had already invaded that in previous years, so that's why we made that the way we did. And that's why that was how we did the transition.
So right now, there's 1350 up to the R4
Yep.
residential.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
And so we would be changing typical practice if we made any
If that is
decision.
to remain heavy industry, you're correct.
And that's also, again, that would be just our recommendation. Ultimately, the council would make the decision, but Okay, I think I'm clear on it.
Good question.
I feel like, me personally, I want to see what the county's going to do,
Sure.
but I'm just one. Yeah.
Andy Lorenz.
Hi, Andy. Can you come up to the mic? Thanks.
Just for some clarification, currently, right now, 600 feet north of Lee Road is light industrial.
Mhm.
Currently.
Okay,
Just wanted to make that clear.
that's right. The county has a different designation than the future land use of the city. I noticed
If
that
you
earlier.
look at current zoning for the Adams County,
So,
off of map sifter is probably the easiest way to bring it up, if you want to bring it up in. 600 feet north of Lee Road is all industrial, then it goes into heavy industrial.
it's 1350 for the city, what it looks at. So there's potentially 750 of light industrial could stay, and then we could make a decision about, why not just do it all at once? It's my thought. But thank you for that clarification. I just remember the
We
county
did-
map.
We did talk about some possible rezoning changes to that area in our conversation we had today. I haven't had a chance to discuss it with our planning commission yet, so right now it's just kind of a could be, if you will, so.
That's why I said we've got
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, and that makes sense to me. Gina,
I just want to make that clear as far as the
thank you for that.
light industrial zone. Thank you.
So technically. Yeah. So technically, with the light industrial on the north side, then you would have your 1,350 or 1,330
If you,
feet with what's on the south side also. But like I said, we're gonna go through that process, and we're looking to get the north side changed. So that's kind of where we're at. It'll take us a little bit to go through that process.
Does a commission, anyone on the commission feel like we should discuss that more, or is everyone feeling like we should wait,
Wait.
get in the wait?
I mean, I understand.
Not that we can't have some discussions in general about this, but
Mhm.
what do you think, Don?
I can see several different uses, but I don't know which would be best for the landowner. And why would we designate that so clearly? Why not leave it open to the people that own the property and ask them what's best to do with it? And my other question from driving around is, why are we ignoring all the property on the west side of the canal? There's a huge, big segment of area there that's not useful for agriculture. Should we not designate that urban
That's
reserve at least?
Not within our
yeah, we
our
can't-
growth area.
Mhm.
So the area we've agreed with between the city and the county for what the city is planning for, that's not been part of that agreed on area.
My question is, so far it seems just ignored.
Well, the county's dealing with it, but the city's, it's county. So it's not intended to be annexed within the near future. So therefore, the county is doing all the planning.
Are they in fact making plans, or I don't have no idea what they're doing?
They're going through the same process we are. They're updating their comprehensive plan.
So, and my question is, if the residential does go forward on half of that light industrial, wouldn't that allow the other property on Costa Street extend as well to residential if they put a request in on Angel's property?
AJ's. We talking about
Heavy industry.
different one.
Well, because right here, right, they're gonna extend, this is where,
It would set a precedent. You're asking, is that set a precedent?
yeah.
Question.
Well, that northern,
Would.
that northern piece of property that you're looking at, just south of Lee Road, west of 14th and east of 7th, I believe belongs to the city. Just south.
So the city
That
is
strip.
annexed up to here.
You're talking about the old
That's
school
light
property?
industrial. This is county. We're talking about
About,
future use.
about whether Angel.
This
could
right now, the
go
county
further,
has,
You cannot-
has light industrial.
Because
right
that,
here,
I'm talking about-
that's
but not
actually the
here.
city's property.
I'm talking about this piece right here.
Right, but you're saying, would that allow him to go? But
Yep.
right now, that is County has that as in the heavy industrial.
Because it butts up against our heavy
Over
industry.
here, the county has this as light industrial. That's what we're just talking.
Then I don't know
It's
about
the county
why,
map you'd have to look
why
at.
is that interesting
right
to
there.
people to be light
yeah.
industrial or heavy industrial?
Hmm?
They can go almost
does go
anywhere,
up to
can't
it.
they?
Okay.
No,
That's what I'm saying. It'll allow Garza to
You
go.
want them, you.
Yeah, I see.
I'll wait on that, Don.
So, did you understand the question, Ann?
No,
I think he was saying if there was a decision made by the commission to make a recommendation to allow the residential side of south of Lee Road to happen and wait on the rest, that would set a precedent where then Angel would say, could easily say, well, can I then push the residential up? But he doesn't own that. That's right. AJ owns that too, doesn't he? Got that from the city got it. City got it. Okay.
That's it.
So it probably wouldn't happen. But it would set a precedent as far as the boundary line.
That's what I was saying is, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but
Currently is
the city bought that from AJ.
it's heavy.
Yeah, I wasn't on when all that happened, so I couldn't remember how those land shifts happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Two key things I just kind of wanted to point out, just remember, it is currently zoned that way. So you guys it may change, it may not, but as current rules are, you're consistent with it. If you invade it, it would be nice to know why. I agree with that. But the other thing that I think is good for you all, with a pretty rare opportunity tonight, is you do have the county planner here. And it would be good to know their transitional strategy versus ours as it comes to some of these zones as you look forward to taking the opportunity of how things kind of play out and what you want to do with them. I mean,
I'm just knowing.
if I had that opportunity, I'd be asking all about how do you guys like to see those transitions to happen and why?
I mean, I'd be
And that'll
curious
help
to
for
know
your
what their
decisions.
what they're talking about now. Bob, are you comfortable talking about where you guys are at with that, or you think it's too early?
Well, yeah, I mean, we haven't discussed it. I mean, we haven't got to that part on the comprehensive plan update, so I mean, I need to talk to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only one vote, so my opinion is just my opinion.
Well, I was wondering if you could speak to what has already been discussed, but if you haven't got there, then
We haven't done it.
I guess I would direct that question to Andy as the county planning director.
I'd be asking Andy.
Andy's the guy.
The
Sorry.
only other thing I would say is that we are still planning to request that is
Yeah.
residential to the north side.
I mean, for your guys' planning, I think, getting some input while you have somebody here from the county, what their strategy and what they're looking at as far as their transitional zoning may impact some of your all's decisions tonight and in the weeks to come. So it's a great opportunity to jump on.
Thanks for the recommendation.
My recommendation.
Andy, just so I'm clear on your position, I apologize. Do you do for the county what Ann does for the city?
I'm the building and planning director and the fire marshal for the county.
Okay. So the planning commission for the county meets like this and they're asking you for,
We meet
Same
the
kind of
second
information.
Thursday of every month.
well, if there's anything you can speak to, I mean, I think we'd like to know.
Are you looking for specifically this area? The whole-
Was the collaboration from the county and the city on the surrounding limits, right? Like there should be some sort of idea. I don't know what's been done, but I, just like you, had no idea. So yeah, I would personally think the planning areas that surround the city limits would be beneficial to know.
So I can give you a little bit of a background too. So for about 2.5 years, we went through a complete rezone for the county. We went through our complete zoning ordinance and we went through our map. This current zoning was approved a year ago. So now what we're doing as part of our comp plan is we're looking at those little areas that we might need to tweak a little bit. We haven't really dived into that yet. I've looked at this area specifically because of what's kind of going on here, that there's certain things that I could see could potentially change to both benefit the city and the county, right? So part of it, if you look at that little funky shape at the top, that needs to get put back into ag. One, because it's too close to the sportsman's trailer court in that area there. There's no buffer between them. So put it back into ag, create that buffer between the heavy industrial and the residential zoning. So that's just one little piece of the pie that we're looking at. As far as county staff, I've yet to talk to our own planning commission about these items, but we're pretty much on the same page when it comes to this kind of thing. But I could see that there could be some things that could be done here if it's done properly. And by done properly, I mean it's done to where those significant buffers between our volatile zoning, which would be the residential, and our heavy industrial, to help our emergency management team and our fire department, right? I think there's a lot of study that needs to go into this, traffic studies, how it's going to impact for truck routes and those kinds of things. Those are all things that we talked with Chose about. So as far as the panhandle as a whole, again, we're looking at those areas that, okay, would it be beneficial to add some commercial here that could benefit the city for growth and those kinds of things? And it's just those little areas that we've kind of tweaked. The green area here to the west, we left that in we created a rural 20 zone. It's a residential 20-acre minimum zone. And we left that within close to the boundary of the city so that if the city does choose to annex, they're not having to deal with a bunch of little lots and figure out how it's going to fit their current zoning, right? It allows them to annex and create these residential neighborhoods that they're looking to do. So right now we're kind of open to suggestion. We're hoping to get some more input from the public as we go through our comp plan update as to what they might want to see. But we spent about 2.5 years, if you want to zoom out a little bit more, Ann, really revamping the zoning in the panhandle itself. We created 5-acre zoning designations, a 2.5-acre zoning designation, where most of the panhandle was 1.25 acres minimum. And so we did that to help protect ag, because that's our primary focus, and then also work more within what the city is looking at for future growth area. So that's kind of where we're at in a nutshell. So does that help?
Yeah, I mean, I should have done my homework and been more familiar with the county zoning, honestly, even before our last discussion.
Yeah. So one other thing that we did, and it's not right around the city, but it's a little further out, is we expanded the industrial complex of Bruce by probably 3 times, just in what's available for the light industrial and the heavy industrial there. Everything south of Cunningham Road all the way to Highway 26 is new zoning. And we created and we followed the rail system there to help promote industrial growth there for jobs. So reducing some of the industrial growth around the city wouldn't, in my own opinion, wouldn't necessarily hurt the city, because it gets the industrial areas out away from where it's going to impact the city as far as a hazard mitigation. So,
And Don brought it up at the last meeting, talking about why not just move all industrial out to Bruce. And he actually got me thinking. I was like, that makes sense.
So when we're looking at that area north of Othello, it could be significantly reduced down if the city thought it, the city and the county working together thought it could be beneficial to both.
So I feel like there's like 3 issues almost. There's the safety issue, of course, which is very important. And that seems to be the biggest.
That southwest prevailing wind going into residential neighborhoods is just a bad thing.
Well, then there's the economic situation, right? I get that. And I don't know if 1,400 homes would be more of a tax base for the city than the industry would. Industry's big, right? So then there's the talk. And so that would take away from the tax base if you took that away. But then there's also the kind of the philosophical part of it is, and what Don brought up, it just makes sense sometimes to why not move that away? But I get there's more than, it's complex.
And I think that's a discussion where the city and the county should, myself and Ann can talk and see what's going to be beneficial for both the county and the city as a whole.
So I guess my question would be then, if the county does agree and does the housing, then who would then take that risk if annexation does happen with the city going beyond that, right? Because like how Sandy was saying, it's a safety matter. So if the decision was made by the county and then the city inherited it, then if something would happen, would that then be liable on the city because they inherited it, or would it be allowed on the county because they developed it?
That's really hard to speculate on, but obviously development in the city is going to be a lot more concentrated, and you have a lot more people in that area than under county zoning, which is going to be, I don't know, like 2 acre minimum, or,
So if we look at this from a growth in the residential growth from a county's perspective, right? We don't have a public water system. We don't have a sewer system, right? So if it's going to be Group B wells or private individual wells in private septic systems, we're looking at, probably minimum 1.25 acre lots, where if it's in the city, you're looking at, 1/3 of an acre possibility. So you're going to get a lot more dense, where in the county, your houses aren't going to be as tight knit and together. So there's that part of it if it stays within the county realm.
There's a big part of me that looks at the expectation that we already have annexed enough property to have built out past 2047. And we're talking about a 20-year plan here that will be past 2047. Part of me says, why do we want to make those kind of decisions now when we already have so much land that's annexed recently? Does anyone else feel that way too?
You'll have a question about that. The papers that you put out seem to automatically make a decision about lot size. Well, the lots are pretty small. It means the housing is worth less. There's lots of places in the country where a typical lot size is 1/2 acre instead of 1/4 acre. And that means there are bigger houses and more money involved. Why should we restrict people to just 1/4 acre? Why not permit or anticipate?
it's very expensive to serve large lots like that with city water and sewer.
Well, yes, but the people that own those lots and houses are willing to pay more. So that burden doesn't always fall on the city. It's on the developer that wants to do that.
But the developer puts it in, but then the city has to maintain it forever. And that is very expensive.
Here in town, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been a while since a developer just developed lots and sold them.
Yeah.
Developers are building homes on all their lots and selling them as spec homes or not always, but so they're going to do whatever they make the most money on.
More lots they can put in, the more houses they can build, the more money they're going to make.
So if a developer came along and bought a parcel, one of these parcels, and said, I want 1/2 acre lots, is the city going to forbid that?
Well, that's a good question.
And
Jeannie, you have a comment? Yeah, come up. Thanks, Andy. I'm sure it won't be your last time up.
As a point to what Ann was saying, she's saying that it's expensive to service those and you have to take care of those lines forever. But technically, Dawn is right in that the service of the city and the responsibility of the city stops basically at your property line, and those lines on the lots are the property owner's
And
responsibility.
1/2 acre lots would be fewer hookups than 1/4 acre lots.
right. You're sending a lot of pipe in the street to get to those large lots. Because there's a lot of distance in between the houses. And so that's a lot of sewer and water main that needs,
Sure, but you're doing that no matter what, quarter or half acre, you're just having fewer laterals that you're putting.
but
in
then
each
you have fewer
lot.
people paying for that.
Split
But
costs.
they're usually
I got
paying
you.
for a larger size hookup, which is more expensive, and they pay for that.
Yeah, but that's all county say.
Well, I'm specifically talking about current annexation. You're talking about speculation about future annexation, and when they're trying to.
Not just speculation, but about city planning as its most basic. If we just presume quarter acre lots are a maximum, we're not planning, we're making a policy that may easily go against what the landowner wants for no particular reason except that we think that's the best thing. And I don't, like you said, 20 years is a long time. I don't know what the best thing is. But
Yeah, so those 5,000 projected lots could be 2,500, is what you're saying, if things
easily.
changed.
And by limiting the size of the lot, that literally limits the economic value of the person, because there'll be smaller households with likely less money. There are plenty of places all over the country that have half acre lots, even 1 acre lots, and they get premium customers that come and build a nice house. By limiting ourselves to a quarter acre, we're limiting the future economic growth and the type of people that would buy a lot and build a house here. I'm not sure we're smart enough to make those limits out for that length of time.
So, Ann, I guess another question it would be, when you guys are discussing, the city and the county are going to be talking, does this mean the planning with the county and the planning with the city? Or are you talking about the city council will talk with
Well, I
commissioners?
think it should be, before it gets to the city council, we should be making sure that we're consistent, because we don't want to put forward something that we know is inconsistent with what the county is proposing.
So then do you kind of recommend or give advice that one of us starts attending the county meetings? Because
I do attend those meetings. One of you is welcome to as well. I don't know yet when they're even going to talk about this kind of thing, but we do have what their zoning is now. And I guess we had a little bit of a preview from Andy of what they're thinking, the changes they're thinking would be made. I guess I don't have a good answer for exactly how we should do the coordination.
I can give you an experience that went on in Snohomish County. They literally designated half of the county to be developed only in 2.5 acre lots and larger, which just imposed a limit on all the people that own land there without much in the way of input from them. It went from having forest and agricultural land to just by fiat completely changing what the land would be for years, and without any input from the landowners. I would vote that the landowners should get the maximum flexibility to develop their property. The issue about hazardous materials is important, but we have a ready-made solution for that out at Bruce. There's plenty of industrial property and facilities there. Especially if we put heavy industry to the north, that effectively changes the value of property on the south side of the city by increasing it for a developer building houses. And it's not a zero sum thing. Our long-term planning for industrial property does change property values and does direct where things go.
Mm-hmm.
If I were a property owner on the south side of the city, I would say, great, put in more heavy industry on the north side, because that would increase my value of a limited commodity of developable land. I just prefer that we not limit the landowner's options.
Before I go to you, Chris, Aaron, I think I just saw a flash up the screen. Aaron, did you want to say something?
Hi. Yeah. Yeah, and we can kind of keep going here, but I just wanted to kind of step in and just kind of clarify what I'm hearing so I can kind of keep some notes here on my map. So on this north side future land use area, looking at the differences between what Anne has up right now with the county zoning, which aligns pretty well with the current version of the future land use map where it's all industrial. There is that strip of light industrial. This new version that's proposed takes that I guess the northeast chunk of that and changes it to residential, buffered by commercial. So I'm just looking at surrounding. So outside of that, is that light green on the map in the agricultural zone? I'm assuming it is.
It's industrial right
Yes.
now.
Outside the city.
Yep.
Our primary 60.
Prime egg 60.
Okay. So you would have residential next to ag. Just something to consider when we're talking about this. Anyway, just kind of trying to bring the focus back to that area since I'm the one tasked with making this city's future land use map update. But
So there's
carry
no
on if
buffer
you have further conversation.
residential.
I don't know. I mean, we're talking about county to city now. Maria, I apologize. I haven't asked if you had anything you wanted to add either.
I think I just had a little bit more questions on some of the light industrial designation and if a buffer would serve between the heavy industry and the residential. And would that be, sufficient?
I don't know if I understand the question fully.
If the buffer will be significant.
Which one are you specifically talking about?
The residential that we're trying or that will be changed?
The one that's being requested for future land
Yes.
use?
Yes.
And do you want to answer that? Do you understand the question?
So Maria, was your question whether light industrial is a sufficient buffer?
Yes, for the residential area. That's being
we have-
requested.
Yeah, we've done that in the past. I don't know if that is actually, I think I'd want some input from the emergency management director if she agrees with that, kind of that direction. Because I feel like she raised some questions last time about that specific issue.
Do you want to speak to that?
Okay.
Wasn't that just pulled?
Yeah.
From the.
She's talking north of Lee Road, and basically we pulled that off the table so that we could go through the process.
I think she's just looking for some clarification, is all.
I can get it from a county perspective. She wants it from a county perspective, for what's currently zoned within the county.
Maria, are you asking if the city, if that's enough of a buffer for city expectations or for county?
No, for
She's
the
talking about-
city.
I think she's talking about south, not north. She's talking about this.
Well, there is nothing south. I think, so I'll just try to say what I think we talked about, 1,350 feet, right, Chris, right now, the expectation is 1,350 feet of light industrial.
Correct.
Is the buffer, the
Between
least amount of
residential
buffer
and heavy industrial.
between heavy industrial and residential?
Mhm.
Does that answer? Are you asking if we currently have that under our current annex property? This is a discussion about.
And it's not really a buffer,
Future
it's
land use.
transitional zoning, so, and that was, when we reviewed that at the time, those were consistent with best state practices.
Okay.
As well as some other things. That's why that was considered. So, and that was to create the opportunity that existed. And that I really liked, Rob, what you had said earlier, because I think it's really important, is you also need opportunity to have some of these, high value opportunities in Othello. I think Othello is also uniquely positioned in a couple of things, maybe not right now at this moment, but in the near future, when that ASR plant comes into effect and we are not draining off the aquifer, we definitely change our algebra, if you will, in what we have to offer for a heavy industrial opportunity. So that I think you got to be a little careful about whatever you do. Keep in mind, that you zone for opportunity, because opportunity is going to what makes us grow and make us even more successful in the future. We're making investments now that we should take advantage of in the future. And if those opportunities aren't available, then we're not gonna.
And Maria, I think the general consensus of the commission is that we want to wait to see what the county's discussions are with Terra Gold Farms before we make any decisions on the future land use north of the county or the city borders right now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just going back to what was on the agenda, but I just remembered how it was said that it was taken off. I was just thinking about that. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I think we're all just trying to get some clarification. Gina?
And this is neither here nor there because we have kind of pulled back from that north side. But one of the things I pointed out to Anne when I sent the email to her was that when we were looking at what we were looking at for the north side, the only option we had from the city was light industrial for the buffer. Now, that's what we asked for. One of the things I pointed out to Anne was that if the city wanted to further subdivide the light industrial so that there maybe was light industrial 1, light industrial 2, and so on, and you could have a light industrial that does not include those kinds of hazardous materials, that we would consider that. But like I said, we've tabled that, but that's something I would like to point out for you guys because it's still something that could be useful within the city.
Okay. Well, it sounds like the discussions then with the county are going to help clarify that stuff.
Yeah. I think the county has a pretty good grasp of it. I mean, like, if you look at the letters, you got Kyle talking about it, you have Sandy talking about it, yeah. Annie wrote a letter as well. I think they got it handled. I think we just got to communicate with them.
Are we comfortable moving past this for this meeting? And
yep.
So I guess then we could, Andy, do you want to talk about not reannexation, changing potential zoning within our current city limits? Is that?
So I'm going to ask Aaron if he wants to kind of take it back up kind of where we left off last month, as I think that's kind of where the direction we wanted to go.
Okay.
All right. And I just wanted to add to, I was looking at our notes from last month, and we do have a section, so I'll just share my screen. This area here, we had designated, or we had noted to do a mixed commercial / industrial designation. And I was just wondering if that could be a potential thing we use on the north side as well, if there are some uncertainties still, where there's kind of that almost like a mixed use zone for commercial and industrial. So just a consideration.
I do, is that where, what's that junkyard, is that?
Yes.
So,
South of Moon Road, is that what that is?
so my question, Ann, would be, so that building where it used to be a fruit processor or something like that, if a business wants to use that as a commercial lot, are they able to use it with this current zone that's on?
I think that's actually zoned light industrial right now.
So then I guess, so if you're light industrial, is it considered like you can't? From what the business owner told me is they're not able to have people go in and purchase items on light industrial. I don't know if that's true or not.
It's about retail?
I think that's likely. You can probably, I'm just going from memory, probably you can purchase something that's made on site. Like you could have a retail, like if they make stuff there, they could probably sell the stuff that they make there, would be my guess.
Yeah, if they produce a product or either probably do a product or service, they're able to do that in light industrial.
I believe so without looking.
Is
And
that-
maybe we need to review all of our zones as part of this whole process.
We have the recycling bin area, and that's light industrial.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking if.
And back there, there's
Somebody wants
issues
to
with
open up a
access,
giant-
and there's a lot of issues with the properties back there. That's beyond just zoning.
Yeah, because like how, if we keep it the blue where it's mixed light industrial and commercial, I think that would be this
That might be a better fit.
better fit.
Is there part of that there that's yellow camp?
Yeah,
So we would be zoning current residential as mixed use. So it wouldn't have an effect on them.
I thought that sliver that was left over.
Well, that's what I was wondering, is it between the canal and that, is that where yellow camp's at?
Piece of yellow, right?
Oh, yeah, it's in the county, we're good. Yeah, and we just.
we didn't call him back. You got some questions?
It's in the city.
Yellow Cap? I thought Yellow Cap, they
No.
wanted to annex it, you wouldn't let them.
So all of the stuff that's in color in this map is outside city limits.
Oh, it's outside
Okay,
the
good,
city.
see, it's outside of this.
Oh.
We're good. Don't need it.
But the white part is not.
White part is in the city.
So that's what I'm saying, where the,
You're talking about the tart cherry places that we were
the tart cherry place.
across the highway.
And the recycling bin, we want to make that mix commercial and light industrial.
Well, that's not part of this, I don't think.
So
It's all
let's
south.
save that to when we're talking about inside city limits. Right now, we're trying to talk about outside city limits.
Are we not?
This is all south of 26.
Okay. All right.
We will have the zoning map up next. I just wanted to confirm a few last things while we're on the outside city limits portion of this.
Got me confused because you said city limits.
So is the consensus right now that everything on the north side, so all this dark blue up here, we will just leave it as is for now until we have further conversations with the county?
That's what I
Is
feel,
that-
yes, is the
Yeah.
consensus.
Okay. And were there any other thoughts on any of these other areas outside city limits? So like Ann said, any of the colored in portions of this map, before we move on?
It doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Areas in the county that are, they're zoned commercial. There's more commercial zoning, especially along Bench Road. We have that one commercial node, but the county zoning map has more commercial there. So is that something we need to discuss?
So, okay, on Bench,
The maps together.
I know, need the county map up here. Well, yeah, I guess that's something to think about is, you know, a lot of this, is it south or north of Bench?
Both. So
Both.
mostly north.
Because I guess we could line it up with what they have zoned as commercial. The rest, I'm just thinking we have a lot of that south of Bench as urban reserve.
That's true. But so like we have that commercial node at Bench and 24 and the property just to the west of that large piece they have zoned as commercial, like over to the canal.
Well, when we last time decided on
Right there,
mixed
yes.
use, that gives either option, right?
Right. But right now we're showing it as residential where the county's showing it as commercial. So that's a conflict. We
Okay,
can make
where
it mixed use and
specifically?
solve that conflict. And then
Where specifically do we have it as residential? I'm not seeing it.
that piece right there that he's outlining.
Good.
I thought we had done it all mixed use, so.
No, everything, so here I can, so we have this pink area on the west side as mixed use. We have this strip in the blue here as mixed use, and then we have these mixed use areas on the north and east side. So those are the areas that we did mixed use. The rest of it we kept residential, except for the large areas we moved into urban reserve. These red outlined areas on the outskirts.
And the other one is just to the east of there. If you go from Bench north, there's another strip of commercial, maybe about, so that those first yellow blocks to the east, like about half of them, like a line a north-south line.
Oh, I see. Like here?
No, so go all the way up to the city limits
Okay.
and then go over, yeah, like not even that far, like about where like halfway of where you are.
Here.
Yeah. And then south.
I don't know what green is, I'm colorblind.
So that's another area where the city or the county specifically has that commercial and then it matches the residential after that.
Would we be comfortable having
Your house in
those
there, Bob?
as mixed use?
Your house in that rectangle?
No. It's behind.
Yeah, that's what I just brought
I
up.
think it's in the pink box, this one we're just
That's what I
discussing.
was talking
It has
about.
that.
Okay, so you're in the white.
It doesn't show it right there.
So that would just be behind your house.
Yeah, you're right. Now I forget where we are now, but you're right.
Try being colorblind and figuring all this out, Bob. Try being colorblind and figuring all this stuff out.
He needs some shapes.
Can we use patterns instead of colors? It makes sense to me if the
Looked at
county
last
has it
month, then that's what kind of where we ended
commercial,
up.
that we at least do mixed use for it.
It's on that way, it's on it. So there's that new development of homes all along. There's like some semi-trailers, it's a private little built area. Tina lives out there, I just don't know what the name of the little.
Yeah.
So almost asking about that commercial node. She was wondering if aren't there homes in there?
Yeah,
Oh, you south of that on Garza Lane?
yes, that area.
I don't think that's included in any of this. That's the urban reserve part. That's outside
Yeah.
that we've designated. It's south of Bench Road. There's a couple there right across from Bob's Corner that are,
That's what
businesses
That's
or
what I'm
semi-businesses.
asking. They have
They
business
business there as well.
Because they not only have their big houses,
They
they
have
have their
truck
semi
shops.
I'm not 100% sure, but those first couple big lots, I think are just
Businesses.
trucks,
Yes, the truck.
just
But
shops.
what she's saying is Garza Lane.
Yeah, below that, it's right now urban reserve.
Houses will have businesses attached because they have their semis.
But we're not designating that. It's urban reserve, so we're not even going into.
Well, I
future
thought
land
we were
use
going to do the
designation.
commercial. It was urban reserve, except we were going to do commercial around the intersection. Thinking that would develop faster.
We'll figure it out when somebody tries.
Yeah, and I think we're saying, or I was saying, those two big lots, I think currently just have shops on them. I could be wrong. I don't think the houses are till they're a few lots in to the south.
What do you mean? I
But I
can't.
think
When
that's
when you
okay.
turn into Garza Lane, there's two big shops that are right there.
Yes, so this is Garza Lane right here. There's two big ones right there, and then
You have
there's two
Coco's
over
shop.
there.
Then you have a mechanic shop to the right.
Yeah, I think that's included in that node.
And then
And
as
can
you
you
keep
zoom in
going
that pink
down, there's
box a little
houses,
bit?
but some of them have.
So Aaron, can you zoom in that pink box?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know who
He's
had
sharing his
control.
That
computer.
may be just outside.
I'm just trying to get it.
It's close,
It's
though.
really close, because I pulled it up on my, like, Google Maps, on my Apple Maps.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. That
That's
is
13
really
minutes.
close.
So there's.
Inner
truck
red
shops here,
lines.
but then there's.
So looking at the county zoning, the north or the southwest corner, that first lot, those first two lots along
There
Bench
we go.
are
There
zone
you go, you
commercial.
listen to us.
And then on the east side of the street, the first two lots, just like it shows there, are zoned commercial. And then the next one
Really, really being
is
fine-tuned.
commercial.
So
So
it. Maybe it needed to be changed to like some sort of mix because of the residential's on there? Or if we're just outside.
It is mixed, that's what you just said.
That's the commercial node. We designated.
It might just be this green parcel here.
We can dig into that more
Okay,
to have that fine of detail at this point.
okay. I just didn't know if it made a difference since we were already working on it, if we wanted it needed to be changed to something that made more sense for residential there.
But didn't we just say the first two are shops?
Well,
But keep in mind, this is future land use.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
but
not-
the
If they-
fir-
if
we're not
they're-
zoning.
yeah, it's the county zoning that matters to them because they're not in the city.
yeah, well, the first two are closer to the main road, so it's commercial. But when you go more in depth, are we wanting to put in that those are commercials or?
I think we should probably defer that one to the county because
And I agree.
if we're just matching the county zoning has a
'Cause they
problem.
can sell
then-
the house and then it doesn't have to be sold to a business. It can just be, those two first ones have to be commercial because they're shops.
And do you know if the county, I know we were talking about what the county has right now, but is this zoning that the county has done in the past or has just recently done? And Bob, can you speak to
Recently.
that?
But that's been that way for quite a while.
So what if the county changes it? We're having this big discussion about what the county has now, and then they change it in their discussions this year.
Pay attention to what they're doing and I go to all their meetings.
So is it worth us making really a big deal out of it now or
I don't
just
think
waiting
so.
to see?
I think we should move on.
Okay,
I
I
concur.
like that idea.
We need a vote for that because I would definitely.
I don't think we need a vote. Okay. Aaron, do you have what you need? If we're just
Yeah.
leaving it what we'd already talked about and then understanding that some of this might change based on the county's decisions.
Right. And then did we want to do like Ann was talking about, align some of these areas with the county commercial zoning and make them mixed use. So this rectangle and this area here.
I
that
mean,
pointed to.
I don't care just because it could change, but if it's mixed use,
Okay.
it's not gonna hurt anything, but
Yep. Okay.
I'm okay with it. How does the rest of the commission feel? Mixed use, okay?
Yeah, it's fine with me. I think we should plan bigger than that, but the plans are okay.
Okay. We're going to move on to zoning map. So now we're talking inside city limits.
Ooh, now we
What
get
page?
interesting.
Going to, just for ease of reference, copy this legend so I can scroll around.
And do we have that map in our packet?
Yes, so that is page 84.
Right at the bottom, that's what I thought.
Okay. All right. So we have, and kind of like we've been talking about, if there's a good reason to revisit some of the zones, that might be something that comes out of this. But we are looking just in general, similar to what we were doing with the future land use map. Are things generally zoned correctly for the types of land uses that exist and that we are planning for? So, kind of open to some ideas here. I'm not as familiar with the area, but just looking around. So everything in the yellow and brown is residential. And then the reds and pinks are commercial. Grays are industrial.
We revisit the R3. Well, it's R2 right now. Because we got crucified the last time we did it.
One thing, if I can just get us started, what I'm curious about as someone that's coming relatively new to this is the residential medical district. And that's a fairly small zoning district. And what the history and reasoning is for having that as its own district, and whether that still fits the needs.
We've only revisited.
I cannot speak to that.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
It fits the needs because the existing hospital is in that district.
14th Avenue.
CBHA owns the parcels north of that, which they refuse to sell to the hospital. The person north of that has entertained the idea of running a physical therapy business from his home rather than in the hospital. All of those are within that medical care district that, as it shows there. The people that just bought the nursing home have plans to improve their business traffic substantially and would like ultimately to increase the structures on their property just across 13th Avenue from where the hospital is. Their nursing homes occupies now a tiny portion of that, and they're interested in increasing their size and increasing their business. So yes, there's good reasons why those are all medical industrial.
But I guess the residential part is probably kind of confusing.
Is the last two to the north, last two.
There's 3 lots from the CBHA property north.
Physical therapist who's talking about building an office
The
there.
first one is the physical therapist, and the next.
These two.
Yes,
Joe Cirillo, and that's the one.
It was just zoned that way long
Trying to
before the
say
houses
yes
were
on
there.
the Top one there.
Well, if you want to keep them.
Well, there was one house there that just
Redesignate.
continued. You could pop off one, that'd be about it.
Two. Joe Cirillo and
Oh, I
the
forgot about
owner of
Joe's.
Augustine
forgot Joe owns that
Alanis.
Good point.
There's 3 houses. One of the first one nearest the 14th Avenue is the one that I think he's talking about for fiscal year.
Yes,
The 2 were just residences. You could probably join those.
yes, the first house there was built by Dr. Purcell.
Make them R1, you're saying? Possibly R1,
you're
like the one
talking-
behind it?
I would just leave them alone. There's no great reason to change the zoning there. All of those 3 lots just north of the hospital property might eventually become
I'd say leaves room for expansion.
used for a new medical enterprise. That won't happen soon, but it may well happen in the future, and I would suggest leaving them zoned just exactly that, because they're not causing
Yeah,
any
the
trouble as they
discussion
are.
is those 2 houses, should they be
Road,
used?
One bigger one.
Go up?
There. Oh, you're talking about down there. I got you.
I'm offended
I hope so.
because I'm going.
Did that answer Aaron's question?
Question. Ask that question.
Well, yeah, I think I'm hearing multiple things that I can't quite decipher. So,
CBHA zone that way.
so are we? What can someone kind of give me the recap of whether we think this is still appropriate?
I think because they're all being used as that currently, and
Yeah.
there could be potential for expansion in the distant future.
Okay. So it might make sense to keep it.
My question is, though, why isn't CBHA also considered the same zone?
The diplomatic answer is that they consider themselves serving a different purpose. The real answer is they're just stubborn. They don't want to let go. They even refuse to rent their property to another medical business under the idea that they're competing unfairly with CBHA. It's all tied up with the politics of CBHA and what they think their mission is. And they actually participate almost zero in the hospital operations. It's peculiar.
Answers the question, but
It's a very peculiar situation, but the 2 parties, the hospital and CBHA, grudgingly talk to one another, but they don't do anything.
for the CBHA medical facility.
There's an office building the CBHA occupied on the first lot north of the hospital.
She's talking about the
talking
main
about-
campus.
She's talking
Why
about-
was that not zoned that way in the first place? Probably is that what you're
Well,
asking?
because there'd be no reason to zone it residential medical because it can just be commercial.
So then does that go back to his point about needing that same zone in the first place then?
I think Aaron's question is the residential medical seems like kind of a weird zone, and I think we all agree it is.
So like, if we are gonna go with it, then go with it. If not, then remove it. Right? I don't know, unless I'm not understing. I'm a
What is
little
the benefits
confused.
of the zoning resident?
Yeah,
residential medical?
what's
I'm
the
not familiar
purpose?
enough with it.
Well, I think it was a long time ago, it was just that there were those houses there that were built there along with the hospital and that, and they, I think the doctors lived there. Yeah.
Okay, that would make sense. One of the doctors on call lives next door.
It could be separated now. And it wouldn't change anything if you separated them, would it? If you pulled out those homes and made them residential and left everything locked out like that. So everyone is still,
Well,
it just doesn't change anything.
the people that are in those homes value their present designation. Because
It doesn't help anything, it doesn't change the way it functions, so might as well get rid of it, it's just weird and unnecessary.
It sounds like they want the ability to perhaps do some sort of a medical use and have their home there as well. Is that,
if you change the designation to residential, they would turn up disturbed and say you're taking part of their property without giving them anything for it. It would put the city in the position of taking a property without paying for it, by changing the zoning.
so Aaron, I think the answer is we'll just leave it alone.
Yes.
Okay.
Giants, they couldn't. Okay.
Well, I don't know.
If they
Because
keep-
I don't know
if
they
they
have
keep-
multiple
if they keep-
structures on the same lot. The other ones, you just have a house on the lot.
That's what she's saying.
But I don't know the answer.
Another area that's catching my eye, and again, I'm happy to go anywhere if people have other thoughts, but it would be this traditional commercial zone, at Main and First, and that being separate from this central commercial zone that surrounds the rest of the corridors. And I understand the difference between, like a large scale commercial and your central commercial zone, but just kind of curious about the traditional commercial zone.
I can't speak to any of this. This is waiting for my time.
So that was the area where it was built like a
It's
downtown
historical.
with buildings to the property line. And that's different from like the rest of Main Street, which is larger buildings set back from the street with parking lots.
We really wanted to make Rob have a parking lot, but we just couldn't force ourselves to do it. So we had to make a whole new zone in that area to reflect most of the businesses, which were different than C2 and C3. So it was to maintain the historical makeup of that commercial zone and outlines where that ends.
Gotcha.
We can't change that because then Bob will make me knock down a building and put it in a parking lot.
We were looking forward to that. The Simmons parking garage, we had big plans for it. And Alma did that.
Relax. You know what? That's okay. Let people think I have that much power.
So that's why that's like that. It is outstandingly different than the other two zones.
I would agree with that other than the show house. There's plenty of parking around
Show
that.
house, we probably should have zoned a little differently.
We need to
Only
change
one
that.
I kind of think of.
It grabs the show house, which has plenty of parking.
So is the zoning for the show house something you wanted to discuss?
You know what? If you do that,
You want me to tell you the color? Is that what you're asking?
I know.
no, I'm gonna tell you
Green.
why. I
Chartreuse?
tell you why you should consider changing that. Because you all had a recommendation that came
Urban?
for adding another type of business on that property.
It's
And
suburbs.
the current zoning didn't allow it.
Well, the zoning wouldn't allow it anywhere.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not just because.
oh, then
of
don't
it,
worry
it's
about
now.
it. Did they ever figure that out?
I don't think so.
I do have. I mean, we can talk about the one that I was jumped the gun on. I got a couple of spots and I'm curious about.
Areas that you think we should look at?
I think Jose has a question.
Yeah, I would like to see, and I don't know, maybe you guys know more, but on First Street down to Pine to be R3. You have R4 all below that. I would like to extend that a little bit more higher. I mean, obviously not R4, but it would be nice to get more housing near the park.
Is there several empty lots in there? Is that why?
Well, there is a duplex in one of those lots, but they're pretty sizable lots. If you,
Did you
I
say
mean-
Fir Street or First?
FIR, FIRST.
Okay.
Across the
Okay.
street from the hospital.
Oh, okay. On this side.
But that's my proposal. I don't know.
Like here.
Because everything across is pretty big houses and nice houses. I don't want to mess with those. But at least in those areas, we can maybe get some more housing units in those areas.
How do you propose that?
Because I want to see those you can already do a mother-in-law attachment in the back.
I would be more apt to do that. Consider if I was on the city council and a homeowner came to me and asked for a change. But
when we're talking about
for us to just assume that that current lot owner,
Well-
property owner wants a change in their zoning, I'm not comfortable with that.
Well, we won't be changing it. It's just on the future growth.
No, we're talking about changing zones within the city limits right now.
I thought we're still on the future growth.
No, we moved away from that.
You
Am I
guys-
wrong? We're talking about.
Now talking zoning and
Rezoning.
city limits. Yeah, so it affects how things are now.
So then whatever we propose will then go to the city.
City council
Council.
to be adopted, yeah. Does that change your thoughts now?
Well, no, because if you're a landowner there, you're considered an R1. And if you do a mother-in-law attachment in the back, you're allowed to do that as an
You're
R1.
not allowed that in R1.
Not even if they have a garage unit in the back.
No ADUs in R1, right?
Right.
Single dwelling only.
So on the back of the CBHA law, if they wanted to build for their medical residents and dental residents, they could not because they're not considered medical resident. They're considered commercial. Is that what we're saying?
No, because here we're talking about R1. So we're just talking
Yeah,
about.
but back
what
to
the rules
the
are in R1.
zoning, if we're wanting to change zone, because I'm still stuck on that. Why wouldn't CBHA at the bottom be considered medical residential?
A weird zone that we don't want to use.
So
It's
then
just
let's
like
get rid of it. If we don't want it, then get rid of it.
I think the history of where it was placed, that makes it difficult.
It kind of comes to the same thing I just said, is unless a resident says, I'd like to see my zoning changed. Maybe some people bought property because they liked that zone and they liked what the future could hold for them and what that zone meant. And then we go and change it and it's going to stir up.
But back to Adama said, what changes? What makes it different if we
I don't
remove that
current-
district?
I don't currently know what residential medical allows as far as construction, but at least it allows probably a medical business within a residence. Maybe.
About-
Medical businesses and it allows residences. So
But and if
Whereas I
but if-
couldn't operate my chiropractic clinic out of my house right now in an R1. So
But if we change, if we decide to get rid of it, wouldn't we still
But
have
again,
to
back
do
to-
a
Back to
public?
the residents behind
Yeah, yeah.
CBHA, they couldn't do that?
a long process.
not
We're just
zone for that?
talking first pass draft.
Not that
Where do we think we're heading?
I can tell you that about 5
you
years
hear?
ago, there was a suggestion made to do just what you said, and it quickly resulted in a whole room full of disturbed people.
I know. So if they wanted to build something.
You should leave well enough alone.
I guess
they would have to get it rezoned.
Alma, I know you guys were talking about before, I think it was like 2 meetings that some
They could ask for that. if they
some
want.
areas were changed for zoning to improve housing units. So what, from before to now,
Mhm.
what will you do different? What are some spots that maybe you guys missed that we could?
I mean, what we did when we went through it, we did try to change a lot of zones to like R4, where it made sense, and R3. So we did try to do a lot of that just to help just to see if we could even start seeing some of those properties be converted. So we wanted to do it just in some areas to see what it would look like and what the citizens would do with that. And then we thought we would just kind of leave everything else the way that it was for now, unless it was brought to our attention that there is an opportunity that maybe we missed. A lot of R2.
And so that was kind of our thought process. We kind of evaluated some of the areas and how they were growing and changing. And that impacted, I mean, that's why we designated a few areas in particular. I will tell you this, if you do that, however, be ready for a lot of people to come to your meeting. It was not very popular, especially.
Mostly because of density. A lot of people don't like that when you change their zone, you risk changing the density of their neighborhood.
Even though their neighborhood might already be pretty dense.
So we tried to be a little careful with where we were changing our 2s or 3s to 4s and things like that, but we kept it in
Do you
mind.
feel like the council would be open if individuals came and said, listen, I have a large lot and I'd like to build additional, but I currently am zoned this. Is that something the city council would say, you know what, we want to increase density, we want to allow for more housing and would be open to that?
Not to speak for the whole city council, but I do feel that with how we've tried to do more public outreach, that I think a lot of us would be open to hear what citizens have to say about their neighborhoods.
I just feel like that's a better way to go, because yes, they'll probably still get their neighbors that show up to the meetings, but at least it was the
Just a decision
individual's
made,
idea.
yes.
And they're making a request rather than a body saying, yeah, let's change this
Yeah.
without asking.
Yeah, but and I'm just not trying to, I'm just thinking if every individual does that, then you're gonna have polka dots everywhere.
I mean, it
wrong
doesn't
with that?
hurt. It's good to have people come in, community members come in and talk to us. I mean, it's not gonna stop us from doing the jobs we have to do. So I would prefer for lots of people to come in and ask for zone changes. I mean, sorry, Anne, I know that probably makes a lot of work for you, but from my end, I mean, it's better for us to hear what the community wants than for us to assume.
But
I
like,
think the map is a really good representation of what we had seen the last few years as far as residential zones.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the process now. If you're gonna make big changes, this is your opportunity to do that. I can tell you, we tried to make a few big changes based on some pretty reasoned logic, and it wasn't well appreciated. Our logic, and it's mainly because of perception, not reality. You know, people are like, what? First off, you gotta remember, everyone in town here thinks they live in an R1.
Right.
And so that's the biggest shock in the world when they find out that they're not R1. So, and then there's a stigma that's, well, if I'm not an R1, then I'm not good. And we ran into that quite a bit. And so as you change things, you can do that. The thing you have to also look at, as some of these buildings maybe are not restorable, and you're gonna replace them with something, do you want more opportunity to replace them with things or less opportunity? And if you look at most of the developments that are being done now, are all being done R4, not because they're building R4 type houses, but because they want that flexibility to do a lot of things in the future.
Well, that makes sense. They leave it up to the developer. And if you end up with a home that needs to be tore down, you leave it up to that homeowner to then approach the city and say, we'd like a change.
If I-
To do it on a single basis.
Right, but if I remember correctly, Anne, when we were doing some of the zoning, we were doing it at the same time that we were doing the housing action plans.
Yep.
So we kind of
Yeah, we wanna
zoned
make
based off of where we thought we could alleviate the housing needs
Yep.
at the time. I think those were
Yeah.
hand in hand, right? We did them together, roughly.
We're using the housing plan for that.
Plan came
little
later,
bit
but we were maybe working on the pieces
Yeah.
of it.
You
toward the
knew
end
it
of the
was
zoning.
coming, and so we were kind of working around that a little bit. I just feel like they went, when we were doing it, we did it together a little bit.
I can just tell you that one city council went, what do you mean you're turning my zone into R3? And that was the end of that discussion.
but wouldn't it be like we're not turning it because it will still have to go through the process? Like it can get denied. That's what I'm saying. Because because we would be the initial starting conversation. We say, okay, this block is going to be R3. The public still has their open input. The city council still has their open input. There's enough open input for those property owners to be like, you know what, I don't want this, or maybe I want to turn my garage into a mother-in-law home, and now this is an opportunity. But
So-
that's why I'm asking them, because they went through the ringer, so I don't
You
want
don't
to.
think everything new annexed is being R4 is enough?
Yes.
I just
It
think
is.
It's
enough.
when,
It's enough.
It's okay.
I just think, I'm not saying R4, I'm saying at least R2 or R3, because when I go there behind the park, that whole area, a lot of them have shops in the back, stuff like that. And I know before, usually if you buy a piece of property that has a shop in the back, you can always make an additional unit in there. But if there are one, then you can't. So it's giving the public or the residents an opportunity to voice their opinion, to say maybe they want it, maybe they don't. I'm not saying that I'm making those decisions for them. I'm just saying, let's give them an opportunity if they want to keep it.
I will say though,
You're pushing the point. You're saying let's push the point rather than let it happen.
then let it happen naturally, yeah. No,
I'm gonna give a different, all right. I'm gonna point out the area between, let's see, Fourth and First and Main, and I don't know where that other street is. It's the R3 that's in there. And I think that's a significant area. And why I am pointing it out, there's also some R4 in there. Why I'm pointing that area out is if you drive through that area, there have been a number of buildings, houses that have been replaced with really nice triplexes, a couple of quadplexes, and increase the amount of housing that's there. I think it actually kind of, I mean, they're nice homes. They're nice places to live. And that could be done in that. Now, if you go a little farther south, which has pretty similar density, you can't build a triplex in there. You can't build a quadplex in there. You are restricted to replace that only with a home if your home is going to be replaced. So that was the areas that we looked at. That's the areas we looked at as some possible areas that you could change the zoning a little bit. But I will tell you that it was not well received when we did that. But I mean, if it just drive down in that area that I pointed out, that's R3, and you're gonna, on just about every other block, you're gonna see new building that's being done there or has been done within the last 5 years that helped. That doesn't make it any easier for them, does it? Nope, I didn't think so either.
I had highlighted this area up by Lions Park here. I think maybe the idea was R3. Should I keep that idea on here on the table, or don't know if we have a result where that went?
I feel like we didn't chat. I need to ask the rest of the commission. Jose made a point. Does anyone agree with making those recommendations to change on it?
What specific area do you want to choose?
Guess I would recommend, if you're going to do that, to only go one level, go from R1 to R2 rather than jumping to R3. Just to.
That's R1 right now?
It's R1.
Oh, don't go to R3. You'll have a zillion people there.
Is this the one Aaron was specifically talking about?
Yes.
Can you tell me again where that was at by Lions Park?
So east of Lions Park. So he's got an outline there on the
Red.
map. Oh,
Red.
maybe you can see the outline.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go to R3, we can go to R2. I'm just.
What's the goal of switching that from an R1 to an R2?
No, I live there.
This is definitely against it.
No.
John, what do you think?
That parcel right there.
Partial edition of Hiawatha edition number 2.
You should anticipate that the hospital will desire the first block in the lower right corner for expansion. They already have the certificate of need for building more hospital beds, and that would be the likely place.
Well, they wouldn't be able to
Don't want
expand it
it.
in R2 though.
No, they would have to get it changed. I would leave it, I would leave well enough alone.
So you leave it alone.
Yeah.
Maria, what do you think?
I say we leave it in the ask.
All right. We're bringing up Jose. Yeah. Sounds like the general feeling is leave it as is. Are we talking about citywide? Is that what it was saying? Or just that specific spot?
For residential?
Anything more you want to say over there?
I want to go back to the fruit stop and see if we can make that
Oh, you want
into.
to move on? Okay, so we're talking about residential right now, I think.
Yeah, well,
We have been, are we done?
Jose wants to talk about
commercial.
a commercial area.
Okay.
So I'm still trying to figure out if we should, I would like to see a mixed commercial and light industrial on that fruit stand area. It's been on the market for way too long. I'm just thinking if we make it into commercial and light industrial, maybe we can get some movement in there because
We don't have we don't have that zone though.
it's not city.
You have a company
But
with
the zoning, Jose, the zoning is not the issue.
It's not.
It's the access to the highway and the water and utilities.
Okay. All right, then I guess we can move on then. All right. I got no other.
Yeah. Was that all the discussion for in city limits you wanted to have?
I don't know, Aaron, did you have any more thoughts on things we should look at?
I mean, I think, again, without all the local knowledge, the only things that stand out to me remaining would be this strip of residential here along the canal. I understand that's, you know, we do have residential on the future land use map outside of that. So I guess that's just confirming for my own understanding why that was residential.
So I can tell you how that happened. When it was annexed, because it was, I think the designation in that area was residential. And so the guidance from the code was you zone it R2 if it's designated as residential. So that's what happened there.
Okay.
The park also. That's why it's zoned residential. And because we have no park zone.
Right.
But if we built an eco park right below it.
So you do have your other parks in green.
They're marked, but we don't actually have a zone.
Okay.
They're marked as parks. It's
Okay.
kind of a quirk that we should probably fix.
So maybe either add in a park zone or actually zone those parks on the map. Okay. I mean, when I look at this, I see a lot of, you know, I really like that there's a lot of variety of residential zoning types, and honestly, even commercial types. It sounds like there's a good reasoning behind a lot of that. So I don't have any immediate concerns about or further questions about the zoning map.
What about, do you think we have too much commercial property?
It's a lot of commercial on the south side here. It's a lot of chunks of commercial. So I don't know if any of that makes sense. Would any of that make sense to be more industrial? Kind of down here. Okay, it sounds like maybe someone's talking, but I don't know if that's
Never stops.
me to hear. Okay.
Okay, so maybe we are kind of wrapping up.
So, Ann, I expected a discussion until 8 about the request from Terrigold.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I'm,
me too.
I'm looking to you for what you'd like to talk about next, if anything.
We can be done.
Okay.
I purposely didn't put more things on the agenda because I figured we would be talking a long time about this.
Is there anything that's some old business that is a short discussion that we could take care of tonight?
I guess, do you want me to bring back data center
as well,
or
waiting for
more
everything.
possible regulations on data centers? You had asked for information. I brought it. We didn't really discuss it.
I don't feel like that's a 25-minute discussion.
So
It could be a 25 learning experience.
it just, do we want to talk about it more another meeting? That's all, can we do that in 25 minutes? You asked for information, I brought it.
Do you want,
Do you want
do we-
to talk about it
does the-
more at a future meeting?
okay,
Probably should.
100% from me, yes.
Yes.
Is everyone else saying yes? So that'll be something.
Okay. So that
I
answers
think
that
that's
question.
imperative.
Do we want?
Does the commission want any more information than what's been provided to us regarding data centers?
I know the county is looking at proposing regulations. So I can keep you up to date on what they're coming up with.
I would like
Okay.
to hear what you have, Ben.
Sorry, Maria, what was that?
I would like to hear what the county has that Ann has, or Ann has what the county has, or
Yeah,
I
she said
don't
she's gonna bring
have
that
it
to
yet.
us.
They're working on it. So I will bring back to
Okay.
you once they come up with something, I will bring that back.
okay.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Been a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? That was Maria. Had her hand up. No one else wants to adjourn?
No one wants to adjourn?
No, second. Second.
Maybe third.
There's been a second.
I thought Ruth
What are you guys
second.
trying to do right now?
I think Don got the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We adjourn
Oh.
7:38.
Yikes.
I think Maria wasn't in.
I think those,
Opposed. She just laid on me.
yeah, she wasn't opposed.
On what? So,
Data centers. and stuff like that.
oh,
I'm still here. I didn't oppose.